Hey guys, welcome back to Hyrule Park, where I'm building a theme park based on The Legend of Zelda in Planet Coaster 2. This is episode 8, and in this episode, that I really hit a roadblock on, by the way, we finish up the Rock Roast Railway Goron Mine coaster. It really was a struggle. I ended up going through a lot of track changes to this, like as you're seeing here. The theming itself was really ambitious, I think, and sometimes tedious for sure. I think I ultimately changed the rock color of this entire Goron City area because of this coaster and the tweaks I made to it like 3 or 4 times. It's just been a lot. But I do have some great news. I just upgraded my PC, and I think these builds will be so much smoother and have me more engaged than ever now that I do have that upgraded, because I tried it out last night and my god, I can't believe I was playing with such downgraded specs before this. Everything now on this new PC is like butter. I really did not think it would be this noticeable, which is why honestly I've been happy with my starter gaming PC that I got before the pandemic to this point. This is really the only game, being Planet Coaster 2 is really the only game I play on PC, so I just never could justify an upgrade to this point. But yeah, in my attempt to upgrade my graphics card and PSU on my own, I think I broke my old PC. Probably when I was trying to wrangle out the old graphics card, I probably broke like something in the motherboard, or I don't know. All I know is that I spent literally an entire day, like 5-6 hours, trying to engineer the shit out of my mistakes that I was making, but I could never get a signal back even when I hooked up the old parts, so definitely broke something. But now it forced me to get an upgraded PC, and we are playing on ultra settings, and I finally have legit lighting effects and the global illumination effect at my disposal, so that's exciting. And again, everything is buttery smooth, like the frame rate is unreal. I can now incorporate actual dark ride lighting effects like I've wanted to in other rides and other projects that I've started in this game. Yeah, it feels like I'm playing a whole new game now. Not to mention the editing on this new PC, I think should be a lot smoother and faster too. So all that to say is I really hope to get these out more frequently now, and I think I've said that in the past, but yeah, I'm really hoping to really prove that I will. Anyway, yeah, I'm upgraded and ready to continue this park project now, all without fear of making everything stutter and frame drop like crazy by adding a million pieces into this park. And my cat is scratching my couch behind me, so sorry if you can hear that. But now to the build and the completion of this coaster. Like I said, huge struggle at times with this. A lot of overwhelming empty spaces to fill with theming. And I recently watched a Rudy video, and if you don't know, he is an extremely talented builder, creator in the Planet Coaster world, in Planet Zoo and Jurassic World, Evolution, and all the Frontier games. Anyways, he put out an episode recently, how to fill empty spaces and gaps, and kind of advice when going about that. Really wish I was able to watch that before I started this coaster, because I think I gave myself way too big of a footprint to work with, and then subsequently backfill with the theming elements. So, but I did have some good ideas ultimately that I was able to pull off, one of which is this sort of runaway minecart that is synced up. I used like a dummy coaster track sort of deal, again synced it up with this coaster through that feature in the game, and I was able to time it with the passing of the two coasters, so it kind of like creates that element. So that was cool, but definitely took some time, some trial and error getting that done. I'm really not sure how much footage I'll ultimately include of this whole build in this episode either, by the way. I typically end up, just kind of like a peek behind the curtain, I typically end up with like 15-ish max clips of gameplay footage to edit down, over a week or two of playing the game and building something for an episode. So the clips are generally anywhere between like 10 and 90 minutes to edit down and splice together in the time lapse. But yeah, this episode had an ungodly 35 clips that I needed to edit down. And with the lack of time I've had recently to get these episodes created, I'm just not sure I'm able to Or if I could even come close to making 35 clips worth of build footage, be interesting for you guys and act as a seamless kind of timeline representation of this coaster build. I really played around with a lot of ideas during the build, deleted and started over some scenes, spent a lot of time off camera, so to speak, trying to come up with ideas of how to theme this ride up. So ultimately, yeah, I don't think it'll be a comprehensive look at the entire build process, but I don't think anyone really wants to see that anyway, knowing how much tweaking I did and kind of like trial and error I went through. I just think it'll become redundant and honestly kind of confusing to watch. It just would not be a seamless viewing experience. So, but yeah, the boarding station, I really wanted to incorporate the wooden pieces throughout this ride. And again, in this boarding station, it's supposed to give off this idea that this is the main entry point of the Death Mountain Caverns mines. So the main like loading and offloading of rocks and whatnot that the Gorons mine out of Death Mountain. So yeah, I wanted it to be somewhat big and open to an extent to have like that grand feel, but also needed to have it remain, you know, keeping that cavernous sort of feel to it as well. The queue behind these walls that you're seeing here, I really think I'm going to have to spend some time off camera working on. I'm not totally sure how I want to go about theming that and building that up. If you remember, or if you saw the first part of this in the last episode, the first part of this build, it's meant to be inside like a cliff-like dwelling. So like the outside is the face of that, and you kind of go through the queue and it ends up inside. So thinking of ways to kind of tie that together with the indoor portion of the queue, with that outdoor portion that I just mentioned in the queue line leading up to the boarding station. I just haven't had any ideas, solid ideas. So if anyone has any thoughts there of how I could do that, definitely open to hearing that. The first lift hill, I'll just make a blanket statement right now. It's different here than it was like 2 or 3 other previous attempts. That's just gonna be pretty much the same theme for all the sections of this coaster, honestly, that I'm showing. But yeah, ultimately I did want it to, again, be like a Goron working area, having some sort of kinetic energy going on with the, you know, the steam rising up from the lava streams, a moving crane that you'll see in the final POV of this ride at the end of this episode, that sort of thing. Yeah, I want the experience to be that you're traveling through a living Goron area, if that makes sense. And at the top of the lift hill, you'll enter through a mine shaft, which is obviously going to be a big part of this ride, entering and exiting mine tunnels, mine shafts, that sort of deal. So I won't show every mine shaft entrance theming, because ultimately it's going to be more or less similar to the one here, but yeah, maybe having some subtle changes to the beam size and whatnot, but ultimately it's the same idea that I would just be showing repeatedly. So something I did realize while building this coaster and theming it up, just going through a bunch of test POV runs to see how the theming was looking and whatnot, and kind of like trying to come up with ideas as I was riding the coaster myself. It's really just going to be too fast of an experience for the rider to really take in the details of the themed up sections. So while at first I was trying to be like ultra detailed and that's really where it was getting tedious, I realized I probably just need to focus more on setting like a vibe that you can feel as you're rushing through these sections of the track, rather than treating it as a intricate display guests are going to be stopping and looking at. That's not to say I completely skimped out on the theming. I just needed to kind of take a step back for myself and realize that I don't need to go so heavy on the details when the riders won't really be able to see all those details anyway. I still do want it to look good, obviously, from like an outside perspective, with the guests not on the ride and walking around the park and whatnot, in the park shots that I try to get for like some of these episodes and screenshots, or not screenshots, but thumbnails and whatnot. And just for my own, kind of like satisfaction of, I like things to look good, obviously, like that's why I'm building this game. But yeah, just to kind of tone down the amount of detail in every inch of the ride itself was something that I realized I needed to do if I ever wanted to get this ride completed and move on. But yeah, so yeah, what I think I'll do with the rest of this one, guys, is I'll show some kind of like highlights, so to speak, of the different scenes that I think are pretty cool and that stood out to me when building it. But I'm not going to show all of the minor details and rockwork placements, since I think that would just get really redundant for anyone watching this. So yeah, I'll let this play out a bit and catch you back for a quick live walkthrough and then the POV of the full ride. It would mean a lot to me if you guys left a like, considered subscribing. Like I said, I'll keep getting these videos out and we'll work on completing this entire park. So yeah, I would really appreciate it if you guys took the time to do a couple of those things, or all of the things that help people on YouTube become successful. Anyways, yeah. All right. Enjoy, guys. Later.